sit up, yeah. You sit up, yeah. You sit up, yeah. You like the cool blue light, 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 like the cool blue light.
BBC stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on two separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on two separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
Sit up, yeah. You sit up, yeah. You sit up, yeah. You sit up, yeah.
Hello everyone, Gautam this side from GDG Cloud Pune, welcoming all our viewers to this live stream. This is the Google Cloud Next On Air Extended event being hosted by GDG Cloud Pune. This is going to be a 9-week long event where every weekend we will meet with you guys right here on our YouTube channel. and we will be chatting with different experts on their expertise and the theme of the week. So this week's theme is industry insights, and we have Mr. Dharmesh Vaya, who is a GD for cloud and payments, and he will be talking to us about reimagining industries with cloud. Please stick around till the end of the stream. We have a quiz towards the end. This quiz, if you participate in it and if you do well, then we will make sure that we send across some goodies to you guys. So there are a lot of chances, and the more quizzes you participate in throughout these 9 weeks, the more chances you will have. There will also be certain goodies for social media influencers, social media posts. We'll share those details with you on our Twitter handle. You can check for different links in the description. You can find a link to the presentation as well. The presentation will be available after the stream is over. So if you guys have any doubts or any slides or if you want any details, you can just go and visit that link after the stream is over. You can also post your questions in the live chat. If you have any queries, we'll definitely take them up later. And if you want to network with your peers who are joining us today, you can definitely take advantage of the live chat. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Dharmesh. Before we go over there, though, I would just like to give a quick mention and a shout out to our sponsors, to our strategic partners. That is Spot, and we have Danalytics and CoHive, who are our strategic partners. They are helping us put this event together. And a huge shout out to Google developers as well for supporting us all the time with all these different events that we're doing. Hopefully, you guys will have a good session going ahead. So, Dharmesh, please take it away.
All right, thanks Gautam for the introduction, and welcome GTG Pune and everyone who is watching this. So glad to be speaking at this event, and it has been a very what you can call a difficult time for every one of us in terms of with getting onto this new normal way of working. People are working remotely. There can be different situations in which you might be working. However, this talk will be more around kind of understanding the problems which the industries would be facing, and what exactly we can reimagine them when we talk in terms of cloud. So let us try to understand that first, and then try to see how we can reimagine these industries in the cloud landscape. So let's get started. Thanks again, Gautam. Uh, with that, let me quickly introduce myself a bit more. So I'm Dharmesh Vaya. I'm a developer expert at Google, which is into the cloud and the payments category. However, I kind of work at Agraya Technologies in the capacity of a director for technology. So I look after a lot of tech initiatives and cloud initiatives at Agraya, being a GCP partner out there. So with that, let us get started. That is a small agenda what we'll be going through today in the next half an hour or so. We'll be first looking at the industries, what the industry actually needs, then their technology landscape in terms of how we can actually transform and reimagining them with the help of cloud, and what's in store for you as developers or cloud enthusiasts. What's the roadmap for you, and how can you upskill yourselves in this area? So let us have a look at the first segment of the session, which is around industries and its needs. So let's take a very common example around retail. A lot of things happening around retail. So if you see from this slide, there is digitization is the need, e-commerce is the need of the hour. A lot of brick and mortar shops which were never onto the e-commerce platforms have now tried adopting them at a faster pace. Similarly, work transformation for them has been equally important. So when I say or talk about work transformation, it is around scenarios wherein how can they leverage of their operations in terms of uh, the way in which they work. So let's say there is a logistical supply chain department, there is a shopping department, there is a actual retail outlet, and then there is an e-commerce outlet for them, or an e-commerce store for them. So how do they collaboratively work how does the internal factory organization work, and how will that whole collaboration work when it comes to a retail organization, is something which they now kind of see in a very strong manner, because it is the one that actually drives the business for them. So the overall keyword for this would be mainly digitization, and a lot of retailers are actually going ahead and digitizing themselves. Even if you see like small shopkeepers and customers, or like small SMEs and SMB businesses, they are also trying to adopt e-commerce, or at least from a payment perspective, they are trying to get digitalized as much as possible. If you talk about a bit on the larger retailers, there are a lot of functions, especially around support functions or contact centers, which they are now trying to automate as much as possible. And if you see in this age of like the new normal, or the way in which we work these days, it's very much paramount that you have all these systems in place, so that your operations are always on and always continued. So these are some of the points which we can talk about in terms of the retail side of business. Every business segment that we'll see today will have its own strong points in terms of where exactly digitization, or rather transformation around cloud, can be applied, and that will be the benchmark for us to kind of understand what would be their digital roadmap or their cloud roadmap. So these were the problems around retail. Similarly, if you see banking, finance, and the related fintech industry, a lot of things is happening, especially with the customer data that they already have, or they already hold rather. So they are trying to improvise a lot around their customer relations. They don't want customers to go away for any bad experience or any bad product that they can think of, and they are trying to improvise their relations with the customer. And that is actually backed up by data insights, and especially around customized products, or tailored products. So say for example, if you are going to purchase at a bank, say for example any loan product, it would be kind of heavily customized based on your needs, of course with all the regulatory checks in place. But yes, it would be kind of very much customized to your needs as you need them. And at the same time, any bank, it's again more of a service provider for y'all. So then again, support centers become the key player again, or customer loyalty, as well as improving the overall customer experience. So again, the key players out here would be the data aspects and the support functions that we can think of from a banking and finance perspective. Manufacturing, that again is something which has been like kind of what we can tie up with the other two industries that we saw, which is like around banking and retail. Now they all are kind of lying under this mammoth of manufacturing. But then if you see and read a bit about history, manufacturing has seen it in the past. If you see like the 1900 flu, or the world wars, or maybe even the Great Recession, or even the recent 2008 recessions, or 911. Anything that you see, manufacturing was something that has been the highly affected one at any given point of time. But then they always have the capability to bounce back in any scenario. That's purely, of course, dependent on demand supply economics, and the micro and macroeconomics at any country. However, they do have that capability of bouncing back at any given point of time. But then when we talk of its digital journey, or in terms of how it is going to maintain or revamp itself, it's especially around business continuity. So say for example, manufacturing, how it's going to continue even in these scenarios, how operationally they are going to be optimized. So that will be more around the work transformation that you can think of, which we talked around retail. A similar business model will apply over here as well. And another important aspect is you need to think about interoperability as well. So when I talk of interoperability, consider different kinds of devices and components that get manufactured. A very basic one would be something like the USB C type, or the USB standard ones. Okay, they are interoperable across any of the phones or any of the devices that you can think of, and that is where like this interoperability factor comes into play. So another important factor over here is they would need very strong customized ERP suites, or it can be standard ERP suites, but yes, every business model would need their own ERP suites which are kind of in alignment with their business models. So yes, that again ties up with business continuity and operational optimization. And to back it up and to achieve that level of scalability and rapid transformation, cloud will be an important player again over there as well. Telecom again, I think anything said about this is going to be less, especially in the Indian landscape, especially with our big brother Jio. So how it has been kind of transforming the entire landscape, it is kind of a case study in itself, and you'll have very well heard about it a lot. But yes, in terms of the next thing for telecom is definitely around 5G and the edge computing that you think of. So edge computing is nothing but if you talk in a very miniature manner, it is as good as the concept of a CDN. So what it does is basically uh, gives the compute power to a very near location, that is an edge location, and that improvises the speed and the latency at your system. So again, edge computing for telecom is a very broader scope, and it has its own technology and infrastructure in place. And another important factor, again, since it is more of a service based industry, contact center is something that will again play a very important role. So customized products, customized plans for you, or the ease with which you kind of interact with a telecom player is something that would make a huge difference when you talk of the telecom sector as well. What else you can say about media, entertainment, and gaming? It is, I think, the one business segment or the industry that has been kind of gaining traction a lot, especially in these lockdown days, and it's the highest consumable business that you can think of right now. And especially if I talk of gaming, a lot of y'all, I think young folks, or maybe even like professionals who are kind of a lot of addicted to gaming. So anything around online multiplayer is something that is gaining a lot of traction. Okay, especially when it comes to the systems that need to be designed for that, the network, the infrastructure, and everything. But then there are other internal things that you can think of. Okay, so say for example, I'm sure like a lot of you all must have played Ludo King in these days, and one of the important factors over there is like when you play online, how does the algorithm like kind of connect you with another player? So there are these matchmaking algorithms, and one important way, or one important player or an API that you can think of is the GameMatch.dev. I think it has been, of course, developed by Google and kind of open source, but yes, that is something that you can think of how this industry is transforming in terms of the different areas or different services that it requires. Another one would be game management. So the way in which you gamify your entire platform, it can be around media as well, but yes, the game management would require a lot of infrastructure. You are playing with someone sitting in US, someone sitting in Europe, and the whole infrastructure beneath it. Okay, so if you just take an example of Google Stadia, or even there is a platform with Agonis, and it has a combination with Unity, so it has a collaboration with that. So the game management becomes quite easy and simple when it comes to rapid scaling of your systems over there. I think I talked a lot about gaming, then retail and finance, and I think we should kind of quickly skip some things on this. But yes, it kind of the way in which this industry has kind of grown, it has seen a very exponential growth apart. I mean, in comparison to other industries, and that is only possible because you can personalize a lot of stuff with AI. Especially like in terms of media and entertainment, you would see a lot of recommendation based platforms and engines being developed. Okay, It can be customized to music, it can be customized to movies, and so on. So that is something where AI is going to be very much important, because every viewer has a different mindset, or maybe every group of viewers has a different mindset, and they would need tailored content to kind of stick to your system, and then be kind of looking out for more and more related content on top of that. So then when it comes to the second part of this talk, which is around technologies, okay, let us see what technologies or what platforms can we kind of finalize when we talk of transforming and reimagining these industries. So yes, a lot of things are already happening, but a lot still needs to be done. It is just the tip of the iceberg which we are at now, and probably a small way we can say that the COVID situation can be a blessing in disguise for these technologies to boom and kind of take the next step ahead. Is how we'll be seeing in the next few slides. So let us try to reimagine the way in which these segments are kind of growing up. So considering retail, okay, so the way in the fast scale with which it needs to grow in terms of user base, in terms of subscribers, in terms of the scale with which it needs to load its products and so on, or kind of ship its products, is something that cloud will be a major enabler for that. And again, contact center is something which I'm kind of a protagonist for that, and kind of I kind of vouch for it, because any business or any brand, it kind of values when you kind of value your customer. So the only contact point for your business or brand will be a contact center. The ease with which you can kind of interact with your business, the way in which they provide you the service, and the way in which those interactions are, is something that is going to be important when you kind of deal with a brand. So again, contact center is, if you see in this slide, I've put contact center 3 times, because like retail, finance, telecom, everywhere contact center is going to be very much important. And that is where there is a very nice product from Google, which is like Contact Center AI, which actually helps solve a lot of problems. Also, like in terms of like finance, there is data and analytics platforms which are going to be a lot more beneficial, because you'll need tailored products, you'll need customized customer relations with each of your customers, and you give them better products and better services. So that is where your analytics will come into play. And a lot still needs to be done in the finance space, because not all of the financial institutions that you can think of, especially in our day-to-day operations, they are still not cloud ready, or they are not still into cloud, or not into public cloud. They might be heavily into on-prem, but the scale or the performance that you can get with a public cloud like GCP, AWS, or anything for that matter, is not going to be achieved when it is on-prem. So analytics platforms are going to be the thing for finance in the upcoming years. Manufacturing, we talked about it. It's mainly around work transformation and interoperable platforms. So you can think of different platforms which can allow you especially in terms of ERP systems. That is something which manufacturing would require a lot. Okay, they would have a lot of ERP systems, but say for example, small scale manufacturers, if they get a very easy to manage inventory system, a very easy to manage sales, billing, and all the voucher based systems, it becomes very simple for them to reduce all these overheads and focus on their manufacturing aspects. And that is where the ease with which they can use these platforms. So a special need for SaaS based products around manufacturing for small scale industries is what would be a transforming factor for this industry. Telecom, I can not stop speaking of that. A lot of things can happen over there. We talked about edge computing and all, but yes, the core thing would be again contact center, because I think every month or 2 months or 3 months down the line, you keep on having problems with telecom providers, and I'm sure like all of you all must have had interactions with your service provider that मेरा network नहीं चलता, or something of that sort, or I want to switch my plan and something like that. So that is very important, and the ease and the experience that a user gets with a telecom provider is something that is going to be very important. Again, cloud will be a major enabler for that. Media, gaming, and something which I did not talk earlier, will come to that, that is around education. So let me first kind of sum up on the media and gaming side of things. Recommendation systems and the scale of streaming that you get over there is something that is going to be paramount. So you can't lose your subscriber base just because your network, your cloud infrastructure is poor. You'll need to have the best in class infrastructure, and that is what you can achieve by any of the public cloud platforms. So being associated with a podcasting house and a media company, it kind of is very close when we talk of these things. And the recommendation models that you can build on top of this is kind of very amazing, and the level of personalization that you can derive out of it kind of makes your customer feel very happy. Likewise, in gaming, there is a need of rapid game development. It can be SDKs, it can be platforms, and the infrastructure required to run these games is something that is going to be very much paramount. And again, the API ecosystem. So as I talked about earlier, there is a lot of AI involved over there. There will be matchmaking algorithms, which will be very much helpful in terms of multiplayer gaming, and that is where the API ecosystem kind of helps a lot. Now, one basic industry, I should not be actually calling this an industry, but it has evolved into, and that is the reason I kind of did not mix it up with the industries. Education is something that heavily needs a lot of solutions, especially in terms of the cloud infrastructure that you can think of. And trust me, like, I have a kid 10 years old who is like kind of using it very nicely, and it's probably thanks to the schools as well that they are implementing it. But yes, one platform which has stood out is the Google Classroom platform, or Google for Schools, and that gives you a singular platform of conferencing, e-learning, and the niche content that you can upload over there. It can be, it is very easy for even the facilitators or the teachers to kind of use that and kind of ensure that learning can never stop. Like, if we as in the industry as developers, we are kind of doing these kind of conferences, so just imagine how important learning for us is. So why to stop learning for like 5 or 10 year old kids? So learning should not stop at any cost, given the current situation. And that is why a lot of emphasis will be laid on digital learning going ahead, and these things will definitely go a long way forward. So as developers, like, what is the road ahead for y'all, and what kind of upskilling you should be doing, and how you can kind of achieve that? Let us have a look. But before that, like, we talked about a lot of things. The industry is like kind of overhyped with a lot of information these days. So I would say just stick to this basic, that don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. I would say rather be a specialist of one particular area and get an awareness of multiple things, but be a specialist in your field. That if it's cloud, like, even in cloud, it is very huge. It can be infrastructure, it can be analytics, it can be warehousing, it can be AI, ML, and then it's a really vast universe. So you can't, everyone, one person cannot know everything. So be a specialist in your field, and then stick to the basics. Have an open culture. When I talk of like open culture, if like especially in terms of like working professionals, have that culture of sharing and then kind of letting others know as well. So it really helps the other person know as well, and lets them grow as well, and that actually forms the basis of your culture as well, and your organization culture as well. uh, One aspect which I would like to highlight is around, if you're trying to develop something, it can be a small application, it can be a huge enterprise application, think of it that you're solving this for billions. Your current target audience might be a small segment of customers, but just assume that if you are solving this for a niche segment of customers, tomorrow it might be required for a larger set of audiences as well. So have that vision in mind when you're designing or developing any product or any system, that you're solving this for billions and not just for a small segment of customers. It will really help the product as well as yourself go a long way in that whole journey. So how exactly do you upskill and innovate? So if I talk of new world technology, so one, of course, like cloud DevOps is something that I would always vouch for, and especially around the infrastructure pieces, because still a lot of industries are adopting it, and that is something that you can focus on in terms of your career aspirations as well. If DevOps and infrastructure does not excite you a lot, then the next nearest thing would be around data and analytics, because the speed with which the level of analytics that you would require, or the level of infrastructure that you would require, okay, I think only public cloud can solve those problems. On-prem is not going to give you that much leverage. So data platforms and data technologies is going to help you a lot. And above all, like if you have like grown above the layer of data, then AI and ML would be the next big thing to do. Because if you see any of these industries, there was always a need of contact center AI or a recommendation platform, or even improvisation or recommendation even for your DevOps practices. So that is where ML would come into picture and AI would come into picture, because you need to continuously learn from your data, learn from your customers, that what is the insight that you need to design and give better services. So that is again where AI and ML would definitely come into play. One shout out to the immortals, like around web UI, UX, and all those related technology which are directly consumer facing. So without that, I don't think any of these above 1, 2, 3 is going to succeed. So it kind of works as a team. Without having a strong infrastructure, no matter how best web application you develop, it's not going to achieve that scale. Without having the level of intelligence, your web application would not be very much useful. So these technologies are like kind of, I would say, immortals. They would still remain. Yes, the way in which it is represented would keep on changing. So like you can change from like jQuery to Angular to Ruby or anything. But yes, web would still remain web, and then the browsers might change and so on. But yes, the interface for anyone, it's still going to be web for a pretty long time as such. I think so. And then that is why like these technologies still hold as much importance as the above ones. But yes, if you talk in terms of the technologies that you should be upskilling, even as a web developer or a mobile developer, you should understand how you can integrate with the DevOps or the infrastructure technologies and so on. And that is where these skills are definitely important when you talk of upskilling. So if I have to like kind of pick my three choices of the top tech skills in terms of cloud for the next decade or so, one would be Anthos, because see, everyone is going to move into public cloud, and they are not going to remain into one cloud player for sure. They are going to come into a multi-cloud architecture, and Anthos is something that kind of helps you in a way to kind of design applications at a very fast scale, and with a multi-cloud architecture tendency. So if your application is partially residing into GCP, partially into on-prem, and partially into AWS, the bridge for that would be Anthos, and that is something that would be very much prominent for large-scale enterprise players. Uh, Again, another one would be the BigQuery platform, which is kind of a very strong platform when it comes to data warehousing and analytics. I don't think any other tool or any other technology has matched the scale or matched the performance of BigQuery. And with the recent Cloud Next announcements, BigQuery is now available with Anthos as well. So you have your entire data stored into S3 or into Amazon. You can still pull it and read it into GCP BigQuery. So that is with BigQuery Omni, and that is going to be another big player as well. And of course, I think I have spoken a lot about contact center AI. So AI driven support functions are going to be a huge boost in the upcoming days. A lot of work is happening around it, voice driven AI or AI driven functions which would improve your customer experience. Enough said in this talk around contact center AI, so I would kind of leave that. But yeah, it is going to be the next big cloud area or cloud skill that you can think of. So I mean, roles can be around conversational engineers or conversation designers and so on. So that is something that you can think of. But then how exactly do you kind of learn all these and kind of gain more understanding around it? So one thing I always kind of I'm a strong believer is like be hands-on in whatever you're doing. So don't just have the theoretical experience around it. Keep learning it as much as you can, keep sharing it as well. So there is a lot of you can say a depth of content that is required in the market. You don't have adequate good, there are ample good tutorials, but the more you are going to share, who knows, like your circle would at least be using it. So, and if you connect it and if you like kind of share it with a lot of people, definitely you will have a lot of connections as well, which like, you never know, like you can land up your next job as well. So how exactly you can keep learning, keep sharing is one way in the next few weeks is by watching Google Cloud Next on air, the actual event, and by attending a lot of these kind of Next extended by the India West communities, and even how like Pune is doing for the next 9 weeks. So similarly, like 10-11 communities from the west region of India are doing it, so you can attend a lot of talks from there. uh, so trust me, like these talks are not directly like picked from the Google Next. The experts and the guests who are kind of invited over there especially take time for like creating that content for you and giving you the best amount of information that is available. So try to make it a habit to like kind of attend these talks and sessions. You would definitely learn a lot out of it. So that's more of it from my side. I would be happy to like kind of answer any questions if you want to reach out to me. I'm available on Twitter at DRVAYA and LinkedIn. That is my first name, last name. If you need any cloud help and cloud consultancy related stuff, you can always reach out at agraya.com as well. So yeah, that's more about it from my side. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you all have and keep this discussion going. Thank you.